Now, just a little warning before we begin. There will be major spoilers in this video for the second, third, and fourth episode of Tales of the Jedi, the Dooku episodes. Mm-hmm. So if you have not seen them yet and you don't want anything ruined, it's a really good time to click away. So what did you think of the Dooku episodes of Tales of the Jedi? Now, mind you, we haven't seen the Ahsoka ones yet. We decided to start with the Dooku episodes.
Of course, by the time this episode goes up, we will have seen the Ahsoka ones as
this
well.
video, we are going to go watch that. We haven't even seen Andor yet. It's been a fun day so far.
Yeah. I have to say, they definitely made Dooku seem a little sympathetic to his cause, what his intentions originally were. I was worried they were going to not align so much with Dooku Jedi Lost, the audiobook, because I actually really liked the audiobook. And they did a good job with staying in line, I think.
Sort of.
Close.
Well, there's Master and Apprentice as well, which it has to. But, I mean, first of all, I agree with the sympathetic Dooku. I think Dooku has always had this air of sympatheticness to him, if that's a word.
Which is hard to see because he also has arrogance.
Well, he comes, but especially in Attack of the Clones, maybe not as much in the Clone Wars animated series, but in Attack of the Clones, you really get the sense that Dooku is, he's almost troubled by what he has to do. He feels like this is an obligation that he has to do what he feels is right. And let's be honest, that kind of is the path to the dark side for many. I mean, Anakin kind of feels like, I've got to bring peace, justice, and order to my, and security and all these good things. So it's kind of in the same vein where they see the corruption and they figure, I have to do something about it because the Jedi and the Senate are not, which is really the theme of this whole three-episode arc here. Yeah.
I mean, you definitely see it in Justice. He's out with his former Padawan, Qui-Gon.
Yes, who didn't have a Padawan braid.
A former Padawan, yeah. To rescue the senator's son. And you find out the village is destitute. They only kidnapped the son because they needed to draw attention to their own plight.
Yeah.
They don't trust the Jedi because they see the Jedi as lapdogs.
To the Senate, yeah. Which is what most of the galaxy seems to see them as at this point.
And Dooku, by the end of it, he's trying to convince them. He's like, we aren't all lapdogs. We serve in his, justice. We don't serve the Senate. We serve what is right.
The people of that. I love that line.
He even said it.
The people of the Republic is what we serve, not the Senate. Which is, I've talked about it a lot before. What is the problem with the Jedi of this time period? They're not listening to the will of the Force. I think that gets exemplified perfectly by Qui-Gon in Episode 1. And here we have the same kind of thing. They're just following the orders of the Republic, which with Mace Windu in the second episode, or the third episode of the series, also gets that I do everything by the rules. That's kind of, and Dooku's like, that's, you can tell Dooku's like, that's just not how we're supposed to be.
Right. Well, one other thing I found interesting in Justice is you can feel there's kind of a little rift between Qui-Gon and Dooku, especially by the end, seeing, do his ends justify the means and all that. And they kind of hinted at that there was some sort of a rift between the two of them in Dooku Jedi Lost. They didn't talk about it. It's just like, I'm proud of who my Padawan is. And
well, the same for Master and Apprentice. There's, he's not really in Master and Apprentice. Dooku isn't, but he's mentioned, and he's already left the Order, which is kind of confusing with this episode. Or these episodes, I should say, because it's implied almost that he's still in the Order, but he's welcome back at the temple, we know.
Yes, because when he left the Order, he told Yoda that he was taking up his role as Count because he wanted to help the people of Sereno, because the Republic refused to help and step in when his brother Ramil was in charge, because he wasn't going to pay the share that the Sereno owed. He wanted to just kind of hoard all the money, and he was kind of a corrupt figure. But the Jedi refused to help because the Senate and the Republic didn't want them to. It wasn't until after Dooku went there and he found, after the aftermath of everything that happened, he found some rare ore that's very valuable that, of course, the Republic would find value in. All of a sudden, now the Jedi are going to come and help. Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm the Count now. And Yoda, I'm going to leave the Order. I will give you my lightsaber. And Yoda's like, no, man, keep your lightsaber.
No, man, it's cool.
Kind of almost like he was like, I'm waiting for you to come back to us someday.
Kind of, yeah.
Which explains, I guess, in my head at least, why he seemed like he was still welcome within the temple. I
mean, this holds in line with Dooku Jedi Lost in terms of the reasoning why. I mean, it all is kind of the same. He's seeing that the Republic is not, and the Jedi Order who follows the Republic, or follows the Senate, I should say, that it's not all, it's not for the people, actually. That's what he's noticing, and So both are in line that way. I just think it's kind of...
Well, he's realized he can't do any good from within. Because we see, Qui-Gon as a younger man with Dooku's a younger man. Then going from Justice to Choices, the one where he's with Mace, Dooku is his age. You can tell he is older now. But the problems haven't improved. There's still, the guards were trying to kill the Senator because the Senator is corrupt and horrible, and they wanted,
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing as the first episode.
They're yelling to the Jedi that they want the Senate puppets and everything to see a reckoning.
Yeah. Again, it's very similar to the first episode where Dooku is again saying, that it's another corrupt senator, essentially.
And Dooku even encourages him at the end, saying, he's doing the right choice in supporting his people. That Dooku doesn't trust the Senate and things aren't right.
And yeah, we see Windu get promoted to the council in this episode, which, it kind of shows you play ball, you play by the rules, you get the promotion, and you could tell Dooku's like, wait, you're getting promoted?
Well, and if they would have played by the rules, they never would have even known that she, what happened with this murder.
Exactly.
They would have come, collected the body, and gone home.
Yeah. We will not exceed our mandate, Master Dooku. I mean,
sometimes you need to.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of rings with episode 2 and Anakin, we're going to find your murderer, Padme. That's, it's implied that why else would we send a Jedi to pick up a body in this case? Like, why else would you, it's implied that we should do more. We're Jedi. That's what we do. We get to the bottom of things.
We get to the bottom of things. We do what is right.
Whereas here's Windu like, no, we're going to pick up the body and we're going to go home. That's it.
Yes. That's...
And Dooku's like, no.
Even when he's like, he's hiding something. Let's go back and report them. No. Figure it out. Do your job. Investigate.
Yeah.
And then we move into the Sith Lord, the last episode.
Yes, which starts with the deleting of Camino from the records.
Yes, he used Sifo Dyas's code.
Yes.
Which I found pretty interesting because he might have easily known that code. He was really close friends with Sifo growing up.
Yeah, they were besties.
Well, yeah, they were even in the same youngling training group.
Yeah.
So they were close friends. In the books, even... Sifo kind of went mad with visions, and he had visions
of the Clone Wars.
Of the Clone Wars and Dooku being in charge and all that crazy stuff, which is, why he was, why he went off to create a clone army in the first place. And now Dooku went and erased that data using Sifo Dyas's old codes.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and again, according to Dooku Jedi Lost and Master and Apprentice, he should not be in the Jedi Order at this time. So,
and I guess he's not.
Yeah, and I mean this episode takes place basically during episode 1. He shows up after Qui-Gon has encountered the Sith. We have a conversation with Qui-Gon, which was cool.
Qui-Gon and Yaddle.
Yeah, well, Qui-Gon first, yeah.
Yes, Yaddle's just there.
Yeah, Yaddle shows up later, and this is of course a different kind of death for Yaddle than we have seen in the expanded universe. Now she's apparently going to die to Dooku, which. I guess it works.
But it's so interesting. The whole thing with Yaddle and Dooku. First off, you pointed to me that Yaddle doesn't speak like Yoda.
Yeah, I was curious how in canon how they would have Yaddle speak, and she speaks normal, so.
I always for some reason, thought that Qui-Gon was born somewhere else because of his accent. I guess that doesn't make sense. I mean, he was brought to Coruscant as a child, but he was apparently born on Coruscant.
Yeah.
He loved trees.
Yeah, we loved the tree on Coruscant.
The tree. But it's crazy because Dooku says to Qui-Gon before, he and Yaddle go off, that he's been trying to warn the Council of the coming darkness for some time. It was ignored.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it was a cry for help. It was a cry for help. He was already meeting with Sidious,
Yeah.
And it was him trying to, there's darkness coming, he's warning them over and over and over again, and if they would have listened, what would have changed,
Yeah.
Would he have come back?
Well, yeah, he's being manipulated by, according to Dooku Jedi Lost, he's been, the hooded man, he's been having meetings according to his sister.
For a long time.
So it's been a while since, again, assuming that is holding true to this, which, it's iffy, but it works,
It can work, yeah.
So it's been a while since Sidious has kind of been whispering in his ear, and then we kind of see his Sith trial, in a sense, by taking will he kill Yaddle, which he does. And
what's interesting is Yaddle even questions him if he holds the Council responsible for Qui-Gon's death.
Yeah, even Yaddle was like, I get it.
And then at the end, Yaddle kind of admits that she does. She holds the Council responsible. That she's conflicted herself.
It's one of those things where you wonder how many Jedi are kind of having their doubts. and nobody's saying anything.
Well, she even said she stepped down from the council because she believed Dooku was right about many things.
She would have had to step down pretty much that day, too, because she's on the council in episode 1.
She might have stepped down right after the council meeting, for all we know. I mean, they didn't talk about it, but after, now Dooku's been saying for years about a Sith Lord, Qui-Gon comes in and is like, hey, I've encountered a Sith Lord, I fought him briefly. Yeah. And no one believes him still, and I wouldn't be surprised if right after that meeting she was like, I'm stepping down, and then has a conversation with Dooku before he leaves to talk to Sidious, and now they're battling, and she tries a couple of times to get him to turn back. Yeah. But she realizes what they're doing is wrong. Now he has another ally, and it's too little too late.
Well, it's also interesting, since Yaddle just stepped down from the council, that might explain her disappearance. Mm-hmm. Like, she might, 'cause she's going to disappear, right? They're not going to deliver the body with a lightsaber wound to the front steps of the Jedi Temple.
No.
So they're going to dispose of that, and from the Jedi perspective, Yaddle is going to disappear.
Absolutely.
After having stepped down, so it kind of implies that Yaddle was really, from their perspective, the Jedi perspective, that she was really disappointed in some of the Jedi Council's decisions.
Yeah. I mean, how hard? First, I winced, of course, when she got crushed by that door. I was like, oh, she's dead. No, she's not dead.
No, she opened it back up. And
now she has to get definitively killed by...
Well, you have to... Well, we didn't see it, actually, so she might have two stomachs. We don't know. No, maybe Yaddle comes back. Even. Somehow,
she's too
Yaddle
small.
has returned.
No. I was waiting. I thought for sure the moment he sliced her dead, you'd see the lightsaber turn red or something.
Oh, come on. That would have been too cheesy. I know we have the whole bleeding crystals and all those things, but that would have been too much. They're not mood rings.
I'm just saying maybe that was just the final thing that tipped him to the dark side. Because he'd been doing betrayals and stuff, but he hadn't, as far as we know, he hadn't killed another Jedi yet.
No. I mean,
this point, he would have killed his sister.
He's already done some pretty sketchy things. Yeah. I mean, Master and Apprentice, he does some sketchy things as well.
Right. Like I said, at this point, he actually would have had Ventress track down and kill his sister.
Yeah, he's already done really bad things.
Really bad things.
So, but I think you're right. It is still, at least symbolically, this is the
big
final turning. Like,
he didn't even
he's
kill
now
his sister
acknowledging
himself. He had Ventress do it.
Yeah, I think this is the point where he knows he is now with the dark side, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I thought the episodes were great. They really made you sympathize with Dooku and see what he saw, why he left the Order.
Yeah, well, that's, we don't always need sympathetic, relatable villains, but I've always thought Dooku was, and you can see his point of view, right? He knows the Republic is corrupt. Right. He gets it.
An intelligent character, as an intelligent villain, yes, I do need to know why he does what he does.
No.
He's not an idiot. He didn't do this for glory and for, revenge. Why did he leave the Order? They tell you why. Because he feels the Council was just now a puppet of a growing corrupt Senate.
Yeah.
And that it got his former Padawan killed.
Yeah, you're basically having all these senators who are for themselves, right? Mm-hmm. They don't care about the people. That's not what a senator is supposed to be. They're supposed to be for their people. They are there to represent their people. They are there to help the Republic, and they're not. They're there to help themselves only, and Dooku is tired of it. And in terms of, just to shift gears a little bit, visually, again, I love Clone Wars style animation. It was stunning to behold once again. I hope we get more like this in the future. I know we got Bad Batch coming in a month and a half or 2 months, whatever it is, early January there, but love this style of animation. I hope this just continues to evolve and grow, and we get more of this.
Right, now we're off to go and watch the Ahsoka episodes.
And then Andor.
Yes, and then Andor.
So, yeah.
Which we will have seen everything by the time this video goes up, but...
Yeah, but right now we haven't, so may the Force be with us, I guess. Mm. All right, well, that is all we got for you this time, so take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of the Dooku episodes, or what you thought of the whole series, because we will have seen it by the time this goes up. So let us know what you thought. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.